I got a couple emails from kids that have not been to the seminar, but have used my material since 2012. 26 years old, doing $3 million a month. A guy. He went from living in his mother's garage to sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I get them all the time. But speaking of that, and don't pan down to look at them when I'm talking about them here in the seminar. We have a couple of guys in the seminar. Funny, 2012. I must have been hot in 2012. When he left here in 2012, he generated about $4 million for his boss, and realized that fuck, why don't I do this on my own, more or less? And so the first year out, he did about $9 million on his own. Then the next year, when he partnered up with another guy in here, they did about $18 million, and then in the last 12 months, they've done $31 million. Millions? It's dollars, right? Yep. Dollars, okay. And that's Andy, and I got to think of another name so they don't chase down. Anyway, Alvin, we'll call him. We'll call him Alvin. It's close enough for government work. And it shows you what you can do when you stay focused. And it just so happens I'm reading this email about 2012. This kid from New York City who was a fucking. I'm adding to the story a crackhead. Fucking. I don't know if he was or not, but it sounds better. He's a fucking crackhead. He's living in his mother's garage, and he doesn't take a bath. But in 3 years, the story will he's living homeless. But for right now, he's just a crackhead in his mother's garage, and he doesn't take a bath. Okay. Another Menchie sends me an email this morning about their 18-year-old, which I predicted all this. The 18-year-old, unfortunately, I predicted all this. 18-year-old Brit, fucked up, drunk, and the presumption was that this person was a goody two shoes. Nobody's a goody two shoes at 18. I don't give a fuck who you think, who raised them, whether they're altar boys. Do they have altar girls? I don't give a fuck who. And if you're stupid enough to think that, whether they're Muslim, burqas, it doesn't make a shit. They're not. In today's society, the kids are fucked up. And that's because of a lack of leadership of you. Used. I'm in general, parents. And so she's all surprised that her daughter, little cherub that she was. And I said, of course, I had no empathy or sympathy. This is what you're finding out. I had to go pick her up on the street throwing up. This is only because she couldn't get anybody else to pick her up. That's the only the only reason you got a goddamn phone call. Her mates, her friends, and when the guys pick her up, and if you think any different, you're fucking brain dead. It's just, Sally says, why do you get so upset about this, Dan? Because people are so fucking stupid! They're so naive. Because you want to think. Unless you got a chain on their fucking ankle. And you got them in a cage. Then they're good. Until you let them out of the cage. So we got $3 million a month crackhead who can't even take a bath. And the money's out there, guys. And gals. It's not, but why do I get the emails? What do I do, Dan? The $3 million guy doesn't know what to do. It's sex, drug, and rock and roll. The hookers are coming in and out of his fucking penthouse on Madison. so quick he can't keep track of them. He doesn't know whether to pay him with American Express or fucking cash. I said, get an assistant to pay him, so you're not overpaying, you know. Oh, God. Anyway, 2012, I must have been hot. Yeah, I was. I must have been hot. And just in general, what was the takeaway from Klaus last night? Or specifically, it doesn't have to be general. I mean, yes. And like I tell you, almost everybody are like him, the high performers, not like me. I'm one of the few psychopaths. I'd like to think I'm one of the top psychopaths. But there may be, Donald may be a little more psychopathic than I am. But most of the high performance people are like that. Now, he is a consummate professional, okay? And so, and I'm proud to have mentored him for a long time. And but as I say, he's all grown up now. But he is the antithesis of me. His benchmark and his accountability systems are very much like mine, but his implementation and taking action is not like mine. It's not like mine. He'll listen to why it got fucked up, and I don't. And so he'll, because he truly has empathy, he truly has sympathy, and he's sincere about it. It's not put on. It's not bullshit. Yeah, it's not bullshit. He really means it, and he's made me proud over these many years. And most of the guys and gals up there are like him, not like me. There's a couple of them up there that are like me, but for the most part. And so for those of you that are at that end of the continuum, which virtually all of you except a couple maybe, the system works for that personality, that persona, perfectly. Some say it works better for that end because of where we are in the 21st century. And we're not 8th century, which is my speciality. 8th, 9th, 10th century is my speciality. If I'm going to come back as anything, I want to come back then. But with the way the world has gone, the non-alpha male leader is in great stead. And it's so you really shouldn't be concerned about that. What you should be concerned about is taking action, and that's one thing he does do, is he takes action. And he's more on the planning side than I am, but he's running a huge organization. You can't just be willy-nilly running down the street shooting people when you've got these big organizations. They used to say, Dan used to go to every third office and just shoot the guy, and that was his benchmark, his methodology of how to determine who to keep and who to get rid of. Just so happens if you were in the third office or not, every third office. But now they don't have offices. Now they got cubicles, so I guess I'd go down cubicles, Eeny, meeny, miny, boom. Eeny, meeny, boom. Now that's an exaggeration, but it sounds good. I like the story, so I keep saying it. It was really every fifth office, but anyway, it's now down to third office. That's good. Today we'll get more into the stuff that that you're concerned about, but none of this, and we're going to listen to live. One of the guys that's out there, he's been out about 4 or 5 months, and so you'll be able to ask questions as opposed to listen to the webinar that we've listened to the last couple of days. And he's a good kid, and I think he lives in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, I didn't have time to look at any YouTubes to see if I got any fallout but the results are still overwhelmingly positive about the escapade that I went through with the Harlem Charter School and not being able to speak there. So I'm sure that it'll develop over the days and weeks to come. YouTube, goodbye.